Hello there, good afternoon, Lagos. Welcome to another exciting edition of Football Domain on your number one online television channel, CTV. I am yours truly, Wisdom Chimoba, popularly known as the Principal Thing. And today, guys, we've got a whole lot to talk about in the world of football. Yes, as the name of the show implies, it's Football Domain. So we just talk about everything pertaining to football. And our focus today would be the UEFA Europa League that would be kicking off today. Yes, the Europa League would kick off today. We're also going to talk about some games that went down yesterday and other games that will be going down today. Yes, some games will be going down in the La Liga as well as the Coppa Italia and all of that. This and a whole lot more we'll be talking about on today's show. And guys, I am not alone because I've been saying we. Yes, I'm not alone. I'm joined by a very special person with me in the studio. Once we return from the break, I will be introducing him. I'll be going straight to our talking point. So do well to stay tuned. We'll be back in a bit. Once again, welcome back. You're still listening to Football Domain on your number one online television channel, CTV. I remain your host, Wisdom Chimoba, popularly known as the Principal Thing. And like I said before we went on the break, I am not alone today, guys. I've got an incredible person with me in the person of Shuarao Azan. And today we will be dissecting everything going on in football, especially the Europa League, which is our main focus for today. United would also be, playing their first game for the Europa League this season against FC Twente. We're going to be talking more about that as well as other games. And Rafael Varane has also called it quits on his career. So there's a whole lot for us to sink our teeth into, and I know you definitely want to be a part of the conversation. We are streaming live on YouTube as well as Facebook, so you can do well to be a part of the show, and you can drop your thoughts and comments and your opinions about the conversation we'll be having today right there on the comment section. And if we get the chance to read out some of the comments, we would get to do that as the show proceeds. Okay, so you are going to meet Mr. Zan in a bit, but before that, let me just update you that right now there are games going down in the MPFL as we speak. It is Eyimba currently taking on Lobby Stars, and that game as it stands at halftime, it is 2-1 in favor of Eyimba, leading Lobby Stars, and then Ikorodu City trailing at home to Enugu Rangers as it stands in the Nigerian Professional Football League. So yes, now time for us to get straight into the real deal. Azan, welcome to the show. It's a real pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Wisdom. Thank you for having me here. It's actually been one of the most important thing for me. Everybody, we have this thing we want to be on our bucket list. I want to appear on TV one day talking about sports. It's kind of a dream. I've been a football fan quite a long time ago. So, well, thank you for having me, Wisdom.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure. I know the quality you possess, especially when it comes to analyzing football. So it's a real pleasure to have you on board with me today. So without further ado, Hassan, we're going to be going straight into our conversation. Now we'll be starting from the Europa League. So let me just read out the fixtures that will be going down before we get to dissect. Firstly, we're going to have AZ Alkmaar taking on Elfsborg in the Europa League today. Those are the early kickoffs by 7:45, or make that 5:45, I should say. So AZ Alkmaar will take on Elfsborg, and then Bodo Glimt will take on FC Porto, and then Anderlecht by 8 p.m. will take on Ferencvaros. Dynamo Kiev will take on Lazio. FC Midtjylland will take on Hoffenheim. Victor Osimhen's Galatasaray will be taking on PAOK FC, the former team of Trust Ekong, and then Ludogorets will take on Slavia Prague. Manchester United will take on FC Twente, and Nice will take on Real Sociedad. Some feisty and interesting fixtures that would be going down today in the Europa League. Of all of these fixtures, apart from United game, which one captivates your attention the more?
I'm going to go for the one with the Nigerian golden boy in it, Victor Osimhen. So Galatasaray, when it comes to European competitions, they've been top notch. I think last season they knocked out United in the Champions League. Yeah, they were responsible for that knockout. So I think Oh, don't remember. Don't remind me that, please. Don't remind me that. It's actually a nightmare for. I'm not supposed to say this here, but it's actually a nightmare for anybody who is a United fan.
Well, I am a United
But
fan.
notwithstanding, Galatasaray have been very good when it comes to European football. Even in domestic leagues, they are doing well. So I think that game, even with the addition of Victor Osimhen in the team, so it has a lot of quality going to play a certain park.
Yeah.
So I think they are going to be doing wonders today. They are pulling a lot of goals today.
So the way you say a certain park, no disrespect to them, but when Trostakon was there, they were a formidable side. They won the Greece League, and in Europe as well, there are no walkovers. They are quite experienced, as as history would suggest. So but are you suggesting that it's going to be a walkover for Galatasaray?
You said when Ekong was there, so he's no more there, and we have our golden boy facing them. So what do you think? So that's Victor Osimhen, a kind of god in Napoli.
So for you, it's an easy win for Galatasaray.
Yeah, it is.
Well, before we dwell on and go on to other fixtures, let's talk about Manchester United. The headline fixture for today. United is always United. Be it Barnsley, be it whoever they are playing, it's United. They would always make the headlines. And now you're taking on FC Twente, and the importance of this game cannot be overemphasized for Manchester United, considering how their campaign has started. Good. They've been on a wonderful run of forms over their past 3 games, keeping 3 clean sheets, and they scored 10 goals. But they played a 0-0 draw with Crystal Palace over the weekend. But Erik ten Hag, his former side FC Twente, he started his career there as a player, spent about 3 seasons there. In fact, last month he still went back for a testimonial game there. So it's a club that is dear to his heart, according to him. And in fact, during this press conference, he said, it is not nice to hurt something you love, suggesting that they're probably going to whoop them. But what are your expectations going into that game? Do you think FC Twente coming to Old Trafford for their first ever competitive game, they would definitely want to put up a show? And Manchester United, considering the fact that in front of goal they've been misfiring, is something that people should consider. What's your take on it?
Well, I like to say it's supposed to be a walk in the park for United, but United are kind of when it comes to creating the chances, they have creative players, but when it comes to converting those chances, they're kind of a bit slow. When it comes to taking the chances, you have the likes of Marcus Rashford, but I think he's back on form this season, and hopefully he does well in the game. But we have
if he gets to start, because Erik ten Hag has been mentioning rotation a lot, and in fact that was the reason why he didn't start the Crystal Palace game in the name of rotation. Do you think he's going to start today?
But I think he's going to start, because a player coming with 2 goals and an assist in the previous game, then starting from the bench against Palace. So I think he deserves to start, because he's been doing a whole lot of hard work this season. So Marcus Rashford deserves to start. Talking of starters now, everybody wants to see Alejandro Garnacho start as well, because he's been prolific this season, and he's been a whole lot of goal contributions for him. And we can even say too early this season he's been doing well. He's been unlike last season. That's
7 goals and assists already.
So that's something for him. So a lot of people are going to be expecting him to start, as well as Joshua Zexi. So I think that's the only center forward that they kind of have right now. So the remaining forwards, they are more like wingers. So, but I think United are going to do a great job today. Twente are going to give them kind of difficulty. United, when it comes to dealing with all this let's not call them small clubs now. So let's not call them small clubs, but they are in kind of a way. But when United has always been having difficulty competing in Europe.
Over the past few seasons.
So I think Twente are going to give them a kind of hard work to do today.
But do you think United will be able to walk over this one? Do you think they will be able to get the win?
Yeah. You are going to think and think about their last performances. And okay, the Crystal Palace, many might say, because yeah, Crystal Palace happen to be in the Premier League, and you know the competition in the Premier League is just like we say in the street, no good for anybody. So people, you know, these teams, they just want to come against the bigger clubs and say no. We also can do what we are doing. We can, in fact, we are going to do it better. So, and when it comes to United, well, United, well, this is does I think they call it the league stage in the Europa League now, the league stage. So I think they are going to do well. They are going to come out of the group, and the first test today actually going to bring beautiful results for the fans.
All right, well, you've heard it from Azan United fans. He's saying that you guys are probably going to have a good result today. So let's hope it remains that way. But still talking on Europa League, there's also another game that I think is one to look out for. It has to do with OG Sinis taking on Real Sociedad. And we know OG Sinis, they've been impressive in the Ligue this season, but Real Sociedad, they've been on and off. In fact, they had a stint in the Champions League last season, if I'm not mistaken. And now they've dropped down to the Europa League. In fact, looking at the last set of fixtures for these two teams, for Real Sociedad, they've lost 3 out of their last 5. In fact, they picked up just 2 points out of a possible 15. They've lost 3 out of their last 5. They've drawn 2. For Nice, they've won 2, they've lost 2, and they've drawn 1 of their last game. So both teams coming into this game, they are not really on form. So, but what is your expectation in that game?
Well, I just hope we get to enjoy football in those in that game, because I think this society are going to be coming out triumphant, just for the popularity sake.
They would be away from home.
They will be away from home. Yeah, it doesn't mean Spanish team these days. They have this kind of coordination that majority of the teams around the world do not have. So I think OG Knights are going to hear it from them. They are going to be handed kind of big loss at home today.
Wow, that is a bold one for Mazan. But moving on now to another game, Dynamo Kiev against Lazio. Lazio has our own Daily Bashiro in it. And Lazio, over their past few games, I wouldn't say they've been all that impressive. But you look at their records, they've won 2 out of their last game, they've lost 2, and they've drawn 1. But coming into this game, Dynamo Kiev, they are unbeaten in their last 5 games, winning 3 and drawing 2. Now this is just for their domestic form, but Europe the form in Europe is always different from the domestic competition. But what is your expectation in this game? Normally on paper, I would say Lazio is the bigger and better team, but on European nights like this, they are no minus. But what is your expectation in this game?
Well, certainly, when it comes to European nights, we have upset. They are actually upset. You see, teams. You see teams like you see minor teams dealing with the bigger clubs in such a way that you just ask questions. Like there was a time we had they called them Sheriff. I don't know about the club. I think it was they were Sheriff, then beating FC Sheriff, beating them Real Madrid. So I was like, so what's football turning into? The traditional clubs they are getting to suffer from.
Now we have a certain young boys who are no longer young boys.
They are no longer young. They are no longer young. I think but pertaining to this game, Dynamo Kiev has also been a kind of prolific side over the years. They've been competing in Europe for so long now, so I think they're also a kind of club that has the kind of grooming that they needed. They need to perform well in Europe. And when it comes to Lazio, well, Lazio is well, like you said earlier, they are good on paper. They are good on paper, and they kind of they have good players. They've got a kind of wonderful strategies to winning games, but their form this season has been kind of especially for the white people guys. Now when they are going to do their thing, they'll be like, oh, what's their form? How have they been playing in the past games? But I think this is
impressive.
But I think this is European night, and majority of teams they want to focus more on the European games rather than the domestic games, because you have to ensure that you get to a certain point in the European competition, because like a certain somebody said, he said you could actually win the cups by mistake. So they want to focus more on the European and competitions rather than the domestic ones, so that they could just upset anybody. We don't know. They might get to the final.
All right. Well, the final one we get to talk about before we move on has to be FC Porto against Bodo Glimt. Yeah, Porto will be going away from home to Bodo Glimt, and hey, Porto, they are on a winning streak right now. Their only loss in their last 5 games came at the hand of their city rival in Sporting Lisbon, where they lost by 2 goals. But apart from that, they've been impressive. And then Bodo Glimt as well, they're doing well for them. So in fact, they won their last game 6-0. So going into this game, what are you expecting from this game? Are you expecting lots of fireworks, or you're thinking it's one of those games where both teams are just gonna try to cancel each other out and all of that?
I think Porto will just cancel them out entirely.
Straight away, no too much talk.
Not too much talk. Porto has been a very good team over the years. The last season they did well in the European and in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So I think this season as well they're going to be doing great. So whoever it is they are facing this season, as far as it is not Manchester United, so they're actually,
I think they're also going to face United in the Europa League. I think that's their next game. United, for their fixtures, after taking on Twente, they get to welcome Tottenham Hotspur, and then I think Porto following the following European night. So they're coming up against United, no doubt. But till then, we wait to find out what that fixture would give us. Okay, so for us to move on to other conversations, once again, let me just give you a rundown of the Europa League games that would be going on. We get to see AZ Alkmaar take on Elfsborg, and then we'll see Bodo Glimt take on FC Porto. Those 2 games would be going down simultaneously today. And then later on by 8 p.m. we'd see Anderlecht take on Ferencváros, Dynamo Kiev will take on Lazio, FC Midtjylland will take on Hoffenheim. That is also one game you need to look out for. Galatasaray will take on PAOK FC, and then Ludogorets Razgrad would take on Slavia Prague. Manchester United will take on FC Twente, and then OGC Nice would welcome Real Sociedad in the Europa League. Yes, so now time for us to move over to games that would be going down today. In the La Liga, we'd get to see Girona take on Real Vallecano, and then Barcelona take on Getafe. Quickly, Azan, what are your takes on these 2 games? Girona taking on Real Vallecano, and then Barcelona taking on Getafe.
So first time regarding the Girona game, I think Girona are going to be doing they are going to be taking the 3 points away from Rayo Vallecano.
But their form this season has been off. They've been a shadow of themselves. In fact, coming into this game, just 3 losses out of their last 5 and just 2 wins.
Well, I still believe that they can get it 3 points away from they can get the 3 points at home over the visitors.
All right. Well, so Hassan says Girona. For the white paper guys, if anything goes wrong, come for his head, not for me. Not for me. Come for him.
No, there is a way you have to play that. You don't have to come for anybody.
Oh my goodness, Hassan has said Girona, so hold Hassan. Oh, don't come for me. Hold Hassan.
In my defense, be responsible while you are doing your thing.
Okay, so you've heard it. Be responsible and make sure you are up to 18 before you even think about involving in the white paper things. All right, so and then Barcelona, Getafe. Barcelona has been blazing red. In fact, they're one of the teams you don't want to come up against this season.
Nah. You don't want to. But I think eventually, everybody is going to meet their Waterloo. These teams, this is just football. This is football. It's kind of dynamic at times. You don't know what to expect in games. So, and there are times, they lost their Champions League game against Monaco. It was shocking. Everybody were like, no, I don't understand how this is Barcelona. But you see, that's just football. That's just football. But considering that they are playing in the La Liga tonight on a Champions League night, so I just say
Europa League night, you mean?
Today is Wednesday. Normally it used to be the Champions League night back then. So until we had the new format.
From next week, I think everything is going to return back to normal. All the Champions League games would go Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the Europa League will go Thursday.
Let's the match congestion has just been somehow
that is a conversation for now. If we are to dwell on that, we are not going to leave the studio today.
So, but I think Barcelona are going to they are I expect them scoring like 5 goals today.
So straight win for Barcelona.
Straight win.
All right, straight win. And finally for today, the EFL Cup. Arsenal will take on Bolton Wanderers, and then a proper Premier League fixture, Liverpool taking on West Ham United. What are your predictions for this game?
Arsenal to win.
But
they are conceding.
Conceding, you sure?
Yeah, that's a good thing for me.
Really? That is a bold call against Bolton Wanderers.
Yeah. This is the EFL competition. The EFL clubs. These are they are smaller clubs trying to ensure they get a spot in the bigger competitions. So, and I think Bolton Wanderers, when it comes to upsetting people, they are like
But Arsenal's defense have been impressive, and considering the fact that Chelsea played Barrow 5-0, United played Barnsley without conceding, and Arsenal will be like, why should we concede?
Considering the defense now, Arsenal has been they kind of have let me say, I don't know, they are kind of sleepy at times. It is football. You just make this mistake. There are times you don't observe things, and so. But I think if Bolton Wanderers are going to, it's either they are scoring from a set piece or it's just a kind of counter attack that you don't even expect. So it's something like that. But I see Arsenal conceding goals.
You see Arsenal conceding, but you're gonna win.
Yeah, I'm gonna win.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about Liverpool West Ham. Julian Lopetegui has been hit by a wave of surprise. He came into the Premier League, signed some wonderful talents, about 7 or 8 players that
I think they spend the most money during the transfer.
Yeah, and everyone. I don't think they spend the most.
I think behind Chelsea.
United spent more. I think United will always spend more than everyone. United and Chelsea would always spend more than everyone. But coming into this game, West Ham United, they've not been all that impressive, and prolific the way everyone would have expected. But hey, Liverpool now in the slot. They found their mojo back to back. They were shocked by Nottingham Forest, but they brushed that aside, smashed AC Milan 3-1 in the Champions League. They dealt with Bournemouth over the weekend 3-0, and now coming up against West Ham, who lost their last game by 3-0 as well to Chelsea. So what are you expecting this one? A Liverpool win or a West Ham upset?
Well, West Ham they are always going to upset. But I think Liverpool are coming out of this one victorious. They are coming out of this one victorious. West Ham, they might have signed a lot of players during the transfer window, but I think it still takes time for each player to adapt to the certain system, to the new system that they are going to have to fit in. It is either you fit in that system or you are shipped out. So I think it is going to take time for West Ham to actually adapt with the new players.
To get used to themselves and all of that.
But Liverpool already, because I think the Liverpool team they didn't make too much of changes and so
notable one added to the team.
That one can even be a sub. It can come in as a sub. So it's actually nice for Liverpool. The man is just and as lot he just found himself there where the meal has already been prepared. Now now to just a spoon, now things like that. So it's kind of
all right. So Azan says a win for Liverpool. All right. So moving on because of our time, we also have some games that will be going down in the Coppa Italia today. We get to see Pisa take on Cesena FC, and then Udinese will take on Salernitana, and then Genoa will take on Sampdoria. Those games would go down for the Coppa Italia, the round of 32. Some games are also going down in the King's Cup. I was talking about Saudi Arabia. We get to see Al Najma take on Damak, and we get to see Abba take on Al Tawan, and then later on today we'll see Al Safa take on Al Rida, and then Jeddah will take on Al Reed in the King's Cup. That is talking about Saudi League. And so now let's talk about a bit of the games that went down yesterday, because yesterday we saw some interesting results, and one that got a whole lot of people talking was Atalanta versus Como. 2 talking points from that game. Number one was the fact that Ademola Lookman was on the bench for that game, and they eventually lost to 3-2. Although he came off the bench to score the second goal via penalty for Atalanta. And then the second point is the final conversation we'll be having, by the end of this show, in the person of Rafael Varane, hanging his boots after that game. So let's first talk about Atalanta versus Como. That game was a shock. Now, that was Cesc Fabregas' first win in the Serie A. The celebration for him yesterday was wild. He's worked so hard for that win, and it felt good. Not just getting it against anything, but Atalanta. So that game yesterday was one of huge significance for Como and Cesc Fabregas. But at the same time, Nigerians were talking. Why bench Ademola Lookman, one of your most informed players?
So you don't bench our player and you think you are going to do whatever he's doing on the pitch. You are going to do it when he's not on the pitch. You don't bench us. Certain players they are important. They are when the player is a part of the team and the player plays important role in the team. So you don't make decisions like benching the player. You don't drop those players. Because you don't know when. For brilliant players, just a moment of that brilliance, just spark, and they do their thing. They do their thing. So you don't bench your prolific players because you think the pressure is on for them. And
what if it was just a case of choosing to rest the player for the sake of fatigue, squad rotation, and all of that?
I learned one thing, something from Manchester City's manager Pep Guardiola. He always says something about not resting certain players. When you think, okay, for example, I think yesterday he rested some players and he still did his job. He won the game 2-1. That's because he knew that, okay, without this player, I think I can still score goals. I can still score goals. There are times his key man Kevin De Bruyne is not playing and they still create chances, they still win games. That's a kind of mentality. But whenever he knows that this person deserves to play, he doesn't bench them. See, every game for Pep is kind of like a final.
Yeah.
He wants to go in there, play everything he can. So, and that's just a kind of thing that managers need to understand. You don't just say you want to. If you have 17 players that are good, that are making them, they are giving you results that you want. I think if it is possible, you play those 17 at once. If there is no injuries and the likes. So, but I think I'm benching Ademola for him, for the manager. He should be thinking about it next time he wants to do it.
Well, some bold calls from Azan. Well, we also saw some games go down in the La Liga yesterday. Sevilla finally grabbed the win for themselves against Real Valladolid. That game against Real Valladolid ended 2-1 in favor of Sevilla. A certain man in Chidera Ejike who has been impressive since he went to La Liga. He's been impressive since he went to the La Liga. Chidera Ejike, it was on the score sheet. In fact, he came off the bench and scored the winning goal for Sevilla in that game, and they won that one by 2-1. And all the games also went down in the La Liga yesterday. We saw Valencia played out a 0-0 draw with Osasuna. Valencia-Osasuna, that game ended 0-0. And then Real Madrid, against Deportivo Alaves. That game ended 3-2 in favor of Real Madrid. 3-2 in favor of Real Madrid. Real Madrid had a 3-goal lead, and then all of a sudden, I wonder what happened to Real Madrid. They lost their focus and they considered 2 goals. But Kylian Mbappe was on the score sheet. Yes, Kylian Mbappe was on the score sheet. A brilliant assist by Jude Bellingham as well. Lucas Vazquez as well was on the score sheet. And the front four of Real Madrid starting to gel. You think it's high time. In fact, I'm looking forward to the first El Clasico of this season. How about you?
I think it's going to be very fun. It's going to be very fun. A lot of people have been talking about how Kylian Mbappe is going to adapt with the likes of Rodrigo, the likes of Vinicius.
Picked up from five goals in 6
but
goals.
But he's been outstanding so far this season.
Yeah, 6 goals in 5 games.
And I think the kind of system the Hansi Flick boys are now playing, I think the man is not even smiling with anybody right
No,
now.
no, no, no. I think part
So
of the thing that makes his job easier there is the fact that, especially for Robert Lewandowski, he seems like a happy man this season compared to last season where he had one or two issues with Xavi, and the likes, the playing style. But he's worked under, as a flick before at Bayern, and now both of them meeting together. You can see that in fact, Robert Lewandowski has been scoring goals for fun now. Scored a hat trick when I think over the weekend or
it was during the
yeah,
weekend.
during the weekend. So the fact that the players are starting to gel, and then Lamine Yamal, goodness sake, that boy is something else.
That is actually the best youngster currently.
In fact, for me right now, in fact, the
currently.
best player right now, not just best player right now, Lamine
It's
Yamal.
been kind of surprising.
You saw the Rabona assist.
I, you know, there are some players that they just tend to, they feel like, no, I can do this. I want to be like this person. When it comes to their models now,
Yeah.
I want to be like this person. I want to do what this person does,
Mm.
and just give them the ball. Just give them the ball. That's all you need, and you're going to be thinking, this person plays like this. I think this is, so Yamal has been a kind of surprise, going to the Euros to stun everybody, winning the best young player. And well, I actually said something about him, I think last season, and I said that's the only reason why I'm watching Barcelona match. So I think this season it will be the reason why I'll be watching their games too.
But how key and how important is he to this Barcelona team? Do you think without Yamal, Barcelona would not be where they are right now?
Well, a lot of people are going to say without him, they won't be where they are. But I think well, is important 75%. But as a youngster, you don't get to play a whole lot of games, so that by the time when you are supposed to be resting, you won't have overworked yourself. So but I think there are times they won't be needing him. There are times he will be the pivot that they will be needing.
Well, let's just hope no one in Nigerian words say me person no go carry on for mind. Person carry on for mind if he give him injury. But let's just hope none of that happens. And that's why it's like the La Liga, there are not too much severe injury cases.
No, it is not too physical. It is not.
Well,
even the Premier League that is physical. There have been rules these days that you don't just touch strikers anyhow now. Even midfielders don't just rest on players anyhow now.
Yeah, we need to be careful because too many games coming thick and fast. Players can't be picking up injuries. Well, our time is fast spent. So quickly, we also saw some games go down in the EFL Cup yesterday. We saw Chelsea smash Barrow by 5-0. I'm not going to dwell much on that. Chelsea fans can smile with that one. And Manchester City won Watford by 2-1 at the Etihad. We also decided to do strong head. Yes, I'm going to put it that way. Decided to do strong head for Leicester City yesterday, but at the end of the day, that they lost that game via penalties. And Welcome Wanderers lost by 2-1 to Aston Villa. And then yes, so that was how it went down yesterday. For the Coppa Italia as well, we saw Lecce lost to Sassuolo by 2-0. Cagliari got the better of Cremonese by 1-0, and then Torino welcomed Empoli but lost that game by 1-2. Yes, so that is how it stands. So we're gonna go on a very quick break, guys. Once we return, we would be concluding the show with Raphael Varane, who has called it quits on his career. Yes, Rafa Varane, we know he's a serial winner, but hey, let's go on this break. Once we return, we'll be concluding with Rafa Varane. right, Lagos, once again, welcome back. You're still locked on to your favorite television channel, CTV, and your favorite show, Football Domain. I remain your host, Wisdom Chimoba, in the good company of Azan Shuarao, and we've been dissecting and analyzing everything that went down in the world of football yesterday, and the ones that will be going down today as well. So before we went on the break, we spoke extensively about the Europa League, as well as the games that went down yesterday. So today, right now, I should say, we'll be concluding the show because we've come towards the end of the show. We're going to talk about Rafael Varane now. After that game against Atalanta yesterday, for those of you that are not aware, Rafael Varane is now with Como, the team that is coached by Cesc Fabregas. But hey, he has decided to call it quits on his career due to the number of injuries that he's picked up. He's played just one game for Como. In fact, that game he just played less than 25 minutes in that game, and he was yanked off due to injury. Yes, he picked up an injury in that game, playing less than 25 minutes, and it's like, you know what, I think let me just call it quits. The injury is too much. I can't keep up. Manchester United, he spent over 3 seasons there and just played 95 games. But he was lucky, I wouldn't say lucky because he was really part of the team. United won 2 trophies during his stint there. None of that. But let me come to you, Azan. Rafael Varane, how would you describe his career in 5 words? In 5 words.
In 5 words,
yeah.
A legend.
A legend. 5 words are too short, right?
He's actually Varane. He's a brilliant defender. He goes on the pitch, does his job.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's not the kind of player that you see online talking about games, complaining about fixtures, and But he has been persevering. He's a professional. He has been persevering. The injuries, some players, they didn't even have much injuries as he has, and they've retired. But he's been perseverance during his career. So, but I think trying to hang the boot right now, well, it's actually a great decision for him. He's won the Champions League, won the La Liga, won the FA Cup at Manchester United. He won the World Cup as well.
He's won almost everything that he has won. In fact, he's won 22 trophies. 22 trophies within a space of 12 years. That is an average of two trophies per season.
So I think trying to deciding to retire now is actually one of the best decisions for him. And the money he has now is just pension. Just go and relax, do other things.
He's 31.
He's 31. You can just go to coaching schools. There are coaches at 31, 32.
Well, speaking of coaching, in fact, you know what? Let me read out a statement he put out on Instagram, because I don't think he's done with football yet. Yes, so he says, they say all good things must come to an end. In my career, I have taken on many challenges, rose to occasion after occasion. Almost all of it was supposed to be impossible. Now, incredible emotions, special moments, and memories that will last a lifetime. Reflecting on this moment, it is with immense pride and a feeling of fulfillment that I am announcing my retirement from the game that we all love. He also went on to say, towards the end, it's quite a lengthy one. He said, and so a new life begins off the pitch. I will remain with Como, just without using my boots and shin pads. Something I am looking forward to sharing more about soon. For now, to the supporters of every club I play for, to my teammates, coaches, and staff, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for making this journey more special than my wildest dreams could ever foresee. Thank you. Football with love, Rafa Varane. Yes, so Varane is not done with football. It's probably behind the scene with Como and probably defender coach or whatever role he's gonna pick up. But I don't think he's done with football.
No, I don't think so as well, because at his age now, so he's still going to think of what can I see do to be relevant in the world of sports. It's all about relevance for some players. There are others that don't even care. They just want to go home and do business. They want to do other things. But I think for a player like Varane with his records, I think sticking with football even after retirement is actually a good one for him.
Well, so guys, this is where we would be, drawing the curtain for today's show. Really, I have to say, it's been a pleasure, and we hope Rafael Varane, he gets to have enjoy himself after football, cause having a successful career like this, winning 22 trophies, over the course of 12 years, 4 Champions League trophies, won the La Liga as well. Came to England as a serial winner that he is. He still won the Carabao Cup and then the FA Cup. Just unfortunate that United were unable, to compete for the Premier League. If not, that would have been another special one to his trophy haul. But it's a very good one. And now at Como, I think his addition to Como is going to be great because Como, in fact, they've been doing a whole lot of rebuilding. And behind the scene, they have some interesting personalities there. We have ex-goalkeeper in Peperena, who is also there with them behind the scene. There's also Alberto Moreno, Sergio Roberto, Simeone Verdi, Patrick Cotron, Andre Bellotti. All of these players working behind the scene to rebuild FC Como, and then Cesc Fabregas out there, leading them as the head coach. So I think it's interesting days ahead for FC Como, despite the retirement of Rafael Varane. So let's just fingers crossed, and we wish him well. We wish him well. He gets to spend time with his family right now and enjoy his football money after retirement. Well, so Mazan, thank you very much for being a part of today's show. It was a real pleasure, having you on the show. I've had fun on the show, and you had fun, right? You had fun.
Of course, I enjoyed myself.
All right.
Yeah.
And to you, our wonderful viewers out there, I know you also had fun, listening to today's show. So once again, thank you very much for being a part of today's show. Do not forget that this show is sponsored by the Adam Masule Foundation, and you can do well to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes, CTV. That is the handle, and then you can go find me on social media as well. At the Principal Thing. That is my social media handle on all platforms at the Principal Thing. Yes, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, everywhere you can find me there at the Principal Thing. So thank you very much for being a part of today's show. Thank you very much everyone that joined us from the beginning up to now. It's a real pleasure. You guys are the real MVP. It is because of you guys that we are here. So thank you very much, Hassan. Once again, thank you very much for being a part of today's show. And guys, before we leave, do not forget the usual. Proverbs 4 verse 7. Let's say it together. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom. And in all I get, get understanding. Yeah, goodbye. I've been your host, Wisdom Chungoba. Have a beautiful week ahead of you.